It is not true. I never cheated on him. I swear on my life, God sent me the worst disease. If I ever cheated on Gino,
I want her to be happy. Is there a little bit of like hope, maybe that me and her could somehow work out? That I want to keep her or whatever? Yeah, of course. I mean, I have feelings for Jasmine beyond friendship, for sure.
I might sleep in my house tonight with my husband.
Yesterday, Andre came in here, causing a lot of trouble. And then today, his son comes in here now and he's biting other kids. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
I will be more happy and be more glad when you be a Muslim baby. I want to protect you. I want to saving you.
Why have you turned it into this preachy tone?
Like what?
This preachy tone that's not fun.
And Guillermo going off to the military does not provide stability. Come to me when you have the things sorted and you have a plan. But to come to me and just be like, well, maybe.
Thank you, Darcy. Thank you for listening to me. With these natural-looking eyelashes, I'm 100% sure my parents, they're not gonna notice your big cleavage.
Next time I see you, I respectfully don't want to be visiting you in Moldova. I want to be here in Florida. Harry and I, you have decided to not go yet.
I'm happy that Loren apologized, but, apologies mean nothing when you repeat the same behavior.
We found out that you were cheating on me with him 4 months before I agreed to open marriage.
Excuse me?
90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After is truly the epitome of people wanting weddings, but not necessarily wanting marriages. People are out here flat out just not listening. People are here quitting their jobs without speaking to their spouses, even though their family depends on said health benefits. And then there are people looking through phone records because, of course, trust issues are rampant, and leaving their partners just stranded on the street. We have a lot of juicy mess to talk about. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After. So much to get into. As always, before we do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, the timestamps will be in the description so you can skip around as you wish. We're gonna kick this off with Darcey&Giorgi. Y'all, Darcy is shopping because she cannot get a clue. So she's here shopping for appropriate clothing to Bulgaria, and she's taken along Giorgi's friend's girlfriend. This young woman has also gone through the ringer as Darcy's about to go. She knows what the expectation is. So she's here to be like, hey Darcy, you can't dress how we usually dress. And of course, Darcy picks out a bodycon set. And this girl essentially says what I think we've all been saying in the comments. Darcy, no one is telling you to change yourself. They're telling you to conceal the girls for just a few days. And I was hopeful because this girl seems very similar to Darcy, and she's flat out giving it to Darcy. She's like, listen, you need to do minimal nails, minimal lashes, conservative clothing. You gotta, just tone it all down. And Darcy says that she's open, that she wants to make it work. As this girl is telling her, don't embarrass him, because I don't think she's grasping that it's not that you are a problem, it's that this culture is the way it is, and you are a representation of Giorgi. You just want to go in with your best foot forward. And Darcy says that she's open, but she's really not, because she ends it with I'm willing to change a little bit, but I'm not willing to change all of me. If he wants me to make more changes, then it's going to put a damper in our relationship because I need to be with someone that's going to respect me. So let me get this straight, Darcy girl. You want him to respect you, but you're not willing to give the same respect to his culture and to him for 10 days? That's all he's asking for. You live in Miami full time. He's not asking you to be conservative in Miami. So she's really not getting it. And we see her go to one of her lash appointments, and instead of a Bratz doll, she, has minimal lashes. They're still pretty noticeable. Oh my God, you guys, there's a moment where she's completely without lashes and she looks 5 years younger. And it's just so interesting to me. All of the cosmetic things that she does that are aging her, which is defeating the purpose of her intention. She was just naturally so pretty, and for a moment you could almost start to see the real Darcy. So it was really sad. But I mean, the new lashes that she has, they're nice, they're fine. But it was just a moment of like, Darcey, just sit with yourself, sit with your skin, stop touching your face. She's like, I hope that he recognizes just the sacrifices that I'm making. Darcey's a hard one because she claims that she wants love and she wants this fairy tale, but she's not willing to put in the work that it takes to get said fairy tale. In her mind, a fairy tale is the guy just gives me everything that I want, all the affirmation, all the things, but she's not willing to put in the work that it takes to have that stand. And a part of me is hoping that she's just putting on the show for the cameras, because I'm just like, Darcey, at your big age, are you really that dense? I say that because she's packing up for the trip. I think it's like the same day that they're leaving. She's super excited. She's wearing this like bodycon, like onesie jumper situation. Boobs just out, like it's barely covering it. She's excited, like packing up lingerie because, they're gonna make part of the trip their honeymoon, which, okay, like it's sweet, sure, do that for your man. But he's like, I hope you packed up, some appropriate clothing and all of those luggages, because she's packing like 4 luggages. She's like, yeah, and she shows him a silk blouse, and then she's like, and then to the airport, I'm gonna wear this bodycon jumper and this fur coat because it like covers me a little bit, and then my minimal lashes. And he's like, yeah, oh my God, those lashes really cover up your boobs. He was so pissed. She made it seem like that's all that she was gonna wear, and I don't know if she just freestyled on the spot and was like, oh no, I'm actually not done getting dressed. And then she threw on like a scarf covering her cleavage. But by then, he was already pissed. He's like, I feel like you don't listen to me. And she starts speaking to him in Romanian, like, I do listen, I love you, let's go to Bulgaria. And they're being sweet, but you could tell that he is so stressed. This is a homecoming of sorts for him. And it doesn't help that his partner is acting like a stubborn teenager. She's literally about to give this man a stroke. He's so nervous. That's where we leave them in this episode. I just know that Bulgaria is going to be a mess. Y'all, let's move on to Tigerlily&Adnan. I know some of y'all really like them or like to view the car crash that it is, so I will cover it as much as I can stomach it. Adnan finally gets to Texas, y'all, and I'm going to make this comment just because he's a vile person, not because I like talking about people's appearances, but he deserves it. Every scene we see him, his hairline is disappearing, and that makes me feel a little better. But anyway, they get to the cabin, and he's monitoring the spot, and I was just like waiting for him to say something stupid because he thinks that he knows everything. But Tiger Lily, as much as I don't like her, she has been putting in work. They built this cabin from the ground up. There's clearly so much work to be done, but she's been nesting to the best of her ability. She's about to pop. Like, she's done a lot while pregnant. And she's showing him around, and she's about to twist her ankle in this log cabin because she insists on wearing heels, and her feet are swollen because obviously she's far along. And I'm like, girl, who is this for? Get you some designer flats and call it a day. But she insists, and then, after they're done looking around, they go back to the hotel because obviously the house isn't ready. This hotel room is a reminder that she does have 2 young kids. So when they get to the room, it is a mess. Tiger Lily's like, yeah, I'm a bit of a mess, and I'm kind of worried for Adnan because he's spoiled, and the women in his family dote all over him, and I'm afraid that he's going to expect the same thing from me. Tiger Lily, girl, you knew that though. This is where I'm like struggling to feel bad for you, because this is why you don't marry someone within 24 hours of meeting them face to face. Even though you talked for 4 months, I think that it is painfully obvious from a mile away that this man is super spoiled, super entitled, and Mr. Princess does expect you to do it all, even if you're pregnant. Except, of course, drive the Lambo that you paid with your own money, of course. But the joke is, she literally married another child. So now she has 3 going on 4. But anyway, the next time we see him, they're going to go Lux golfing. They're just going to like a country club to golf. And they're going to meet up with one of his brothers. This brother was already living in Boston When he found out that Adnan was moving to Texas, he moved his entire family to Texas. But they're at this place. He is so tacky, Adnan. He's here talking loudly, not necessarily knowing what package they purchased. Instead of letting Tiger Lily talk, he's talking for them. And he's like, yeah, you know, now that I'm in America, I'm also a rich businessman. It's like watching a kid play dress up, you know, like he's playing adult. But after the golf, they're at this restaurant and he is like, oh yeah, my child is going to be Muslim. And she affirms this. And then he starts passive aggressively lifting up her dress, even though she wasn't showing any cleavage as is. But again, it's like a form of control. He's like, it would make me so much happier if my wife was also Muslim. And if I were Tiger Lily, I would have been like, well, I guess you'll just have to remain content and not happier because I'm not converting. Instead, she's like, but why, baby? I mean, before marriage, you said you were okay with me being Christian, baby. And he says that he never was okay with her being Christian, that he just wasn't pushing the issue, but that he's here to guide her to the right direction, that he's always hopeful that she will convert. And at first I thought the brother was gonna press her on this, and she's like, no, you know, like I don't want to convert just because he's telling me to convert. It should be something that comes from me. And he's like, yeah, and I'm gonna guide you into this. Can you imagine hearing someone 20-something years younger than you tell you that they're born to guide you because you've made a mess of your life because they know better than you and you are carrying their offspring at that? There's just so much that a woman can take. It's just so obvious to me, in my opinion, that every step of the way, he finds a way to coerce her to get his way. And if you've looked at Tiger Lily's socials present day, it's obvious that she did end up converting. And it makes me sad because I just don't believe that it would have came from her. But we all make choices, and this is a person that she has chosen every step of the way. But wow, she did not learn any lesson from that golden cage that she was in before. If anything, she's got into a tougher one now. Anyway, let's move on to the three couples. I'm gonna get through it as quickly as I can. As you guys recall, when these three couples got together, everybody got on Andre, mainly because Loren really can't control herself. Loren thinks that she is perfect. She thinks that she is the morality police. And she just can't handle the fact that Libby could even be considering moving to Moldova. But wasn't Loren in her little spin-off show also thinking that she could possibly move to Israel? So the hypocrisy of it is just a lot for me. But we do see her talk to her friend Noga about the whole ordeal, and she apologizes to Noga for not having her back more. Noga is embarrassed. She's like, yeah, I felt triggered by him. I kind of blacked out. He deserved it. That is so out of character for me, and I'm so embarrassed. Overall, I think Loren is like, I hope that this doesn't affect my friendship with Libby, but also I hate her husband, and she's leaving to Moldova in a week. I'm seeing her tonight for girls' night. I have to get through to her. So it's girls' night. Everybody goes back to Loren's house, the scene of the crime. The guys are gonna have daddy daycare. The girls are gonna go. There was a moment that Andre and Libby's son started biting people. Biting some of the other kids. And this is not the child's fault. Like, I'm not gonna villainize him. I just thought that it was funny that it would be Andre's child. And that Andre is like, oh yeah, he bites me too. That means that he loves you. The parenting choice in letting your child think that it's okay to bite other people, one day you're gonna meet another kid in the playground and their parents are not gonna be so kind. So I just think that that's something that they should correct. Like, he's so little, like there is no way that you could villainize this child. I villainize Andre. But now girls' night. They're in the Uber. It is the most awkward of silences. You could hear a penny drop and Loren breaks the silence like, I'm so sorry that happened. And Elizabeth is passive aggressively being like, oh, yeah, I mean, everyone ganged up on my husband, but I'm okay. Your husband has a slick ass mouth. He is venomous. I think that he got off easy. I also do think that Loren did overstep. I think that Loren was trying to vouch for her friend. We all need to learn that sometimes our friends are not ready for the advice that we have. I think that it's okay if you drop your advice once, but to push on your advice is never healthy. And if anything, if you do the most, Libby has notoriously cut people off for Andre. Who's to say that you're not next? And it's clear to see that Loren is getting close to being cut off. And obviously, Elizabeth is going to defend her husband. Obviously, I think that I would defend my husband, you would defend your husband. And I also don't believe that it is Libby's place to constantly be apologizing for this grown-ass man. I think that Loren had some faults in this, and obviously Andre did. And I don't like that Libby's like, yeah, I know my husband says crazy things, but no. Let's not but. Let's backtrack. Let's unpack the things that your husband does. Why is it normalized? He is vile. But anyway, they try to have a fun night and it looks like they're having fun, you know, they're vibing, but then they switch locations to like a quieter lounge. And this is intentional. It's to start talking about the same thing again. And surprisingly, it's Elizabeth that starts it off because she's like, we have such a good thing, all of us here. Too bad I'm gonna be gone for a few months to Moldova. Loren just can't help herself and she's like, I just don't see you living there. Do you really want to live there? And I think Yara just didn't want to keep having this fight. So Yara's like, you know what? Do you like it when you go over there? And if you don't like it, who cares? You can just go to another European country. It's gonna be fine. And the look that Loren throws Yara, like, bitch, I don't want my friend to move, was insane. And Libby just goes on that she wants to respect that her husband wants this. And I hear her. I feel like she wants to give it a try for him. But if she doesn't want people to be like, oh my God, poor Libby, like, let's stand up for her because she can't stand up to her husband, she's gonna have to deliver this news a little better. Maybe sound less miserable when you talk about it. Don't you guys think? Like if she sounded more chipper, like if she sounded more confident in the decision, it wouldn't leave room for Loren to slither in and be like, Libby doesn't know how to speak for herself, you know? But Loren is going on and on about how she feels that Libby is just not standing up for herself. And Elizabeth, I keep going back and forth between Libby and Elizabeth, but Elizabeth is just like, you know what? After I get back, me and Loren are going to have a serious conversation on boundaries. And good, have that with your husband too. Let's move on to Kara and Guillermo. So as you guys recall, Guillermo had quit his job, the really good one with benefits. So because he's downgraded to a restaurant job instead, he now no longer has health benefits and they can no longer afford childcare. So his mother-in-law is graciously taking care of Nico. So he gets there, they start catching up, and he brings up the pilot class that he took and how much he loved it and how he would love to do it, but it costs $60K. And his mother-in-law is saying, yeah, that's a lot, but have you considered the Air Force? Like, that's a way to, you know, learn how to become a pilot. And he's like, oh no, that's cool. Yeah, Air Force. And she's like, yeah, because, you know, they give you good benefits, you get a good job, you bring money in, and you can learn how to be a pilot. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do that. And she's like, think about it. And he's like, yeah, no, that sounds good. I'm gonna do that. This is that bullshit that Carl is talking about. That he loves to be like, yeah, that sounds good, and then has no follow through. So this is already going badly. I just know when I heard this, I was like, Kara is going to mop the floor with him. Also, just keeping in mind that these two already don't sleep in the same bed. Their foundation is deeply broken. When you are in the Air Force, you have to live at a base. There's a period of time that you could barely communicate with your family. So to add that distance to a broken marriage, consider it done. Just file the divorce papers before you go at this point. On top of that, his mother-in-law is like, oh, how are you guys doing? And he decides to just offer up the information that they're not sleeping together. And I think his mother-in-law knew that things were rocky, but she didn't know that detail. And I don't think it's any of her business. And Kara would have told her if she wanted her to know. So this is oversharing by a lot. And yeah, Kara's just not going to be happy. And we see her in the next scene at the park with Nico. And he decides to deliver this news then. Kara has let us know that even though things are not good between them, she doesn't like to appear angry in front of Nico. She wants to give him as much of a stable childhood as possible, and you gotta love it. She's very intentional, but I think the best thing that you can give your child is happy parents, and he's gonna get to an age that he's gonna be able to sense the emotional discomfort. So he tells Kara that her mother suggested that he do the Air Force, and you could see her just be like, what? She's fuming because he's done zero research. They had that one conversation and he's like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. But he hasn't thought about anything. And she's just like, you need to stop just dropping ideas on me and tell me a plan. Tell me how we fit into it. Paint the picture. And I've seen some people be like, it's perfectly fine to discuss ideas with your partner. And I do believe that it's okay to have your partner be a sounding board. I think that with these two, she's so tired because every time she's the soundboard, he's never prepared. He never has an idea of what the next step will be. And because this is her husband, her family, and she's going to be affected by every move, she has taken it upon herself to start like world building with him and like setting him up with business cards, setting him up with licenses, and he does nothing else. So Yara's exhausted. I'm exhausted hearing her. I can feel just how over it she is, and I don't blame her. And with every conversation that we've seen, I'm just like, they're never gonna sleep in the same bed together because I don't see how she can be aroused by someone that she has to mother at every turn. That's not sexy. And I feel her frustration too because he keeps talking about the Air Force like he's just gonna go to an expedited pilot program. It's the military. The military's and she tells him, she's like, the military is a contract and you can't just hop in and out like you've been doing with these jobs. You have to commit to it. You have sucked that commitment. You have to go through physical stuff. You have to go through training. You have to live at a base. Nico's livelihood is here in Virginia. My livelihood is here in Virginia. She starts listing out the licenses, the jobs, the community that they have here, the resources that they have here. She can't just uproot it because he decided 2 seconds ago that he wants to do the Air Force. And he tries to come at like, oh, we got to make sacrifices. And she's just like, that is not going to pay out the way that you think it is. And it's not that she doesn't want him to have dreams. I don't think that that's it. I just think that he leaves them as an afterthought. He's very impulsive, you can tell, and he wants things like that. And if he were smart and thinking about his family, he would seek out a job again. Maybe he can get the old one back, maybe a new one with the benefits to protect his family, and then save up for the pilot school. I think that if you just pay for the pilot school, save up for 2 years diligently, it would be a lot better than joining the Air Force. But again, it's hard to really get through a stubborn child, and that is how he's acting. Anyway, the last couple is Jasmine and Gino. I'm leaving them for last because, honey, this is juicy. We see Gino first, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so he says as he's talking to Dana. And I really wish that he would stick to that because Dana is married to Michelle. And anything you tell Dana, he's gonna pillow talk it over to Michelle, and Michelle's gonna call up her bestie Jasmine. So if I were Gino, I would tread lightly. But he's here talking about all the kissing details. But Dana, who is Team Jasmine, is like, but what about Jasmine? You don't want to get closure? She tells Michelle all the time that she loves you and that she wants to work it out. And Gino is just like, she's also a liar. And the thing about Gino that we've always seen is that he is super avoidant. And I think it doesn't help that Jasmine has been notoriously explosive. But, you know, if you're going to move on to a new relationship, don't you want a clean break? But he's decided he's going to meet up with Jasmine. He already knows it's not going to be civil, especially because he has proof, according to him, that Jasmine was cheating long before she wanted the open marriage. And I believe that. A lot of people on the internet believe that. But I'm curious, how does he know? More on that in a second. We see Jasmine. Jasmine has made herself at home at Matthew's home, okay? She's created this whole little spa. In comes Matt from walking and taking her dog to the groomers. And she's like, I'm stressed. Gino sent me an email. To which Matt says, oh, I'm surprised he knows how to work the internet.
Gino sent me an email.
Glad he knows how to use the internet.
Right?
Honestly, it's kind of wild to me because I'm like, How many times does this guy have to prove to you that he doesn't care before you stop running back to him?
Here's the thing about Matt. Petty Matt. So when we saw him at the tell-all for The Last Resort, he seemed to have like a lot of animosity, right? And by then, I get it because she was already pregnant. But when we're seeing them here, aren't you the friend that's just doing your good friend a favor by banging her because she has a big old bad husband? Because the animosity that he's presenting is of someone that is in love with this woman and completely sought out a married woman and is trying to tear her away from her husband. And now he's done pretending. The only one pretending is Jasmine. But it's just so interesting to me that Matt is acting like he's this scorned person, like Gino stole his wife when it was the other way around. And it just gets worse because Jasmine tells Matt, yeah, Gino wants to meet up with me at this park that we used to go to, and he is panini pressed, okay? And Jasmine is here like just hoping that Vegas went terribly and that Gino has come to his senses. And Matt, who is no longer pretending that he's just a friend doing a favor, he's here as her boyfriend number 2. He's like, okay, you're gonna meet up with him. Where does that leave us? Jasmine's like, well, I, want to do whatever my husband wants to do. And if he doesn't want to do an open relationship, we're gonna have to respect that. And he looks heartbroken, she looks heartbroken, and she starts tearing up. This is so embarrassing. But also just the way that Jasmine talks about Matt, even to this day, is so trash. And honestly, if I were Matt, I would also just have so much embarrassment. Like, everyone here lacks so much integrity because Matt, she's used you for sex, she's mooched off of you, and now she's telling you to your face that you are disposable. So he's talking to the producers like, you know what, I really hope that Gino acts as terrible as he's been so it can finally click to her that he's not the one for her and that she'll give me a real chance. Sir, it sounds to me like she's been giving you a chance for a minute now. If she still hasn't chosen you and only you full time, in general, you guys, the ruse is over. Jasmine, pack it up. This man was never just your friend that you decided to invite into an open relationship. This man is in love with you already. You clearly have feelings for him as well. And you decided that you wanted to make your cheating acceptable and palatable. So you concocted this open marriage. But you can't fake it. You're saying one thing, Matt is saying another. I mean, we all have eyes. It's clear to see what's happening. But she's really there crying like, I never wanted to hurt Matt and just, but I really love Gino. This is despicable. You could have honestly just had a clean break from Gino. Gino, my needs aren't being met. I am unhappy here. And lived in peace with Matt. If it's hurting you so much to let him go, follow that. Some people just really crave chaos. Why? For what? For who? But anyway, y'all, Gino arrives to the park. He opens up the trunk. There's a bunch of Jasmine's clothes. He is just like, I'm ready to deliver this. I don't know how it's gonna go. Jasmine is in her Uber being like, oh my God, to think that tonight I'm gonna sleep in my bed with my husband. Yeah, good luck with that. And for the last few episodes, every time we've seen Jasmine, she's just been like, I love my husband. But she arrives and she's just acting so stank. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Juliet, where are you? Where's the yearning? And she peeps her clothes in the trunk and she's like, Gino, like, what's going on here? Where were you? Where were you recently? And he proudly tells her, I met someone. So I went away, I met her. It was a great time. I got to be myself. And this lady fixes her mouth to say, you saw someone while you're married to me? Is there anybody in there? Madam, you literally were living with your bang buddy and you think that you have a leg to stand on this issue? That is insane. She's hilarious for that one. And Gino's just like, I had a great time. I could be myself with her. There was no drama. And she is fuming because she's like, you're comparing 3 days to 5 years. And yeah, I mean, I think, isn't that how it usually goes? You were comparing Matt to Gino too. Matt is your safe person. Matt is who you feel comfortable with. Matt is who you run to in comparison to the husband that you were with for 5 years. It's the same thing. I think that it's very easy to think that someone's better when they're shiny and you and they haven't gone through the ringer with your temper tantrums. It's very easy to romanticize that. So what he's doing isn't any different from what she's doing. And when she realizes that he's just very much like, I'm happy, I've moved on, she turns up the tears, okay? She's like, I feel so stupid. I feel so dumb. I'm here waiting for you. And you're here prancing around Vegas. And he is numb. He is just like, well, I don't know why you're pretending like you're this yearning wife when I have proof that you cheated on me 4 months before we started the open relationship. And she's like, what?
I looked at your phone records. You started calling Matt 4 months before we agreed to open marriage. What the f*** is that?
Listen.
And according to Gino, he looked through her phone records and he saw all the times that she spoke to Matt before he had any awareness of Matt. And here's the thing. One, if you have to go through people's phone records, you're already done. We've established that, right? I think that this is where Jasmine bit herself in the ass, that Gino was never aware of this friendship, which isn't appropriate. In my opinion. I think that Gino wasn't giving her rides to the gym. So her excuse is, you weren't giving me rides to the gym. He was my friend. He gave me rides to the gym. But it's sketchy. And I think that, and depending on what the timestamps are in that call sheet, I think that those times can tell a story. They can tell you a lot. I think that it was obvious that before she suggested the open marriage, she was already emotionally invested as more than a friend with Matt. But she will never admit it. She won't. So this information is enough for him. He doesn't really care to hear any of her explanation. He's just like, I need you to know that I know and that I want a divorce. And she's like, I'm not going to beg for you. And he's like, great. You need help with your things? She's like, no, thank you. Give me space. And she just grabs her things and then dumps it on the floor. And he's like, well, wish this would have ended better. Bye. And she drops her things on the floor. She sits on top of it. She's on her phone, presumably calling Matt. And he gets into his car and he reverses. For a moment, I was like, he's gonna hit her. He misses her by a little bit and he drives off. And that shot of her with her clothes on the floor, just on the street, was so heartbreaking. But at the same time, they both made so many choices that led to that moment. So many choices. And she was saying at one point, like, oh, you think that I was with Matt in November, but I didn't meet him till late December. It doesn't matter what you say if his number comes up in November on the call sheet. So I'm very curious to see if we'll ever get to see the proof, because I feel like people on the show love to claim that they have proof and we never see it. So while I do believe that she was cheating before, I don't necessarily know what he saw in the, call sheet. So I hope we get to see it. But at the end, Jasmine, who's a mean girl at heart, is like, he's never mentioned the divorce word before. So this could only mean one thing. It means that other woman is pressuring him to divorce me. And on one end, she's not wrong. Natalie did say, if we're going to continue, you really need to cut ties with Jasmine. But also, Jasmine, you are living with your bang buddy. You don't like Gino. Gino does not like you. Let it go. It's over. But as we know, this season is far from over, and Jasmine is going to tear Natalie a new one, and that's going to be painful but juicy, and we will be watching. But that's it, you guys, for the recap. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one, which is Hunt for Love. Bye.